Today we're talking about the Spitfire Audio Originals cinematic pads. So I gotta say this is probably one of my favorite Spitfire plugins that I've ever reviewed, and I just want to say that right off the bat. So if you guys want to learn how this plugin works, what it sounds like, and of course hear a piece that I wrote, stick around after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer, and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash the like button, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we're talking about the Spitfire Originals cinematic pads. So as you guys know, I have done many tutorials on Spitfire products, and I'm very excited for this one here because this is the first one I've done of any of their pads. And I will say that this particular plugin sounds amazing, as you're going to hear throughout the video. And I'll actually be using this plugin in conjunction with the Originals Firewood Piano plugin by Spitfire Audio, which I've also done a tutorial on, which is popping up in the top right corner now. So check that out after this video if you have a chance. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the user interface here, and I'm gonna let you hear what these parameters do to the pad itself. And then I'm gonna let you hear the piece that I wrote using this plugin and also the Firewood Piano plugin. And then you guys will have a good idea of whether or not you guys want to purchase this plugin. All right, so let's get into the tutorial and let's look at the parameters of the user interface. All right, so let's start with this parameter right here. So this fader is basically your volume fader. So I always run this at 100%. This fader here is actually a low pass fader when it comes to this particular plugin. So if you turn this down, you're basically initiating the low pass filter further down the spectrum. So you're basically cutting off more top end as you lower this fader. And then this rotary knob here, if you press the middle button, this gives you access to all four of these parameters down here, and you can modify them with the little knob there. Down here, we got some options for mellow, bright, and cinematic. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just hold out a pad here and kind of play with these parameters so you can hear what they actually do. Okay, so let's go over here. So got a reverb, that's pretty self-explanatory. This knob just turns it up or down. Our attack and release, this determines how fast the attack of a pad when it hits. Is it going to kind of fade in, or is it going to hit really hard like a pluck? And the release will also kind of help distinguish how that sounds, okay? And then the distort is basically kind of modulating the sound a bit in a more, well, distorted sounding way. So again, we'll let you hear what that sounds like when I start playing the pad, all right? So those are the main parameters in here. The top bar here is where all your presets are at here. So for this particular sound, I'm using, it's called Midnight Waves. And then across the top here, I think the main things you gotta look out for, here's your tune knob here. Make sure this is always at 440. I don't think there's any reason that you need to change it. Here's your pan knob if you want to take it out of the center. Most of the time you're gonna be panning on your actual faders here, but you could do it in the plugin if you want. And then here is your output volume. I will say some of these pads that sweep do get a little hot, so you do need to potentially turn this down on those particular patches, okay? So look out for that. All right, so that is the user interface in a nutshell. So let me actually play one of the pads here, just holding out, and I will turn up and down some of these faders here so you can hear what they do. Let's give it a listen. All right, cool. So basically, as you can see, when I started playing with this particular fader right here and pulling it down, we start losing a lot of the top end because again, it's a low pass filter. And then this mellow, bright, and cinematic, this played a lot with how the tonality of the sound and the pads were. So, turning these up, pretty much any of them up, I think got us much more of a brighter and also maybe potentially a fuller sound for all of them. So that's how I would describe them. And then if you noticed, I would just kind of repeating a particular chord I was playing every maybe, I guess, 4 bars. So when I adjust the attack time in here and I brought it all the way down here, you notice that the pad didn't quite sweep in smoothly like it did when we first started playing it, okay? So that's kind of how you would use the attack to create a more sweeping pad. And, in movies, you kind of hear a lot of pads kind of slowly kind of fade in, maybe in certain scenes or transitions. And you might want to use a slower attack time to create that with this particular plugin, all right? Because again, this is cinematic pads. You don't have to strictly use this for music, because I know most people watching this video are musicians, because that's most of my viewership, but this is more used in film, okay? But you can use it in music, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, I mean, that's what this does. And then I guess the last parameter was the distort. As you can see, that kind of just really made the sound quite a bit mangled, I would describe it as. So I didn't turn it all the way up because even getting it to about right here, it sounded quite rough. Okay, so lastly, what I want to do is I wrote a really cool piece. It's pretty short, but I'm really proud of it. It's just piano and a pad in here. And I kind of envision it being in some sort of movie, kind of being in a transition, maybe somebody driving in a car or whatever. And I would love to know what you guys think of it. And also would love to know what you guys think of this particular plugin and what applications you would use it in. So after you finish watching this video, after you listen to my piece, definitely leave a comment in the section below and answer those questions for me. So with that being said, let's listen to my piece. All right, so that is my nifty little piece I wrote there. And that is just strictly the cinematic pads in the Firewood Piano plugin. There are no other effects on it. So all the sounds you're hearing are coming from those 2 plugins. And if you're asking my honest opinion, I think that sounds absolutely amazing. I think both of these plugins are fantastic. So let me know your thoughts below on these Spitfire Originals cinematic pads. Let me know if it's something that you guys would be interested in buying, if you guys would use it in your music. I have a link below where you guys can go purchase it if you guys want to get it. And other than that, if you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know I have new videos coming out. So with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.